first of all, who is Todd Saunders?
I'm still trying to figure that one out. But I guess there's some things that, who other people think Todd Saunders is. I'm the CEO at a company called Broadlume. We are the largest technology company in the flooring industry, at least in the US. I'm not sure worldwide. To my knowledge, maybe. I don't know. But we do everything for flooring retailers. That means we're an all-in-one technology platform. So website, product visualization, right? So customers can see that product in their room, CRM, lead management, digital marketing, ERP, accounting, back office, payment processing, you name it. We're kind of a one-stop shop, fully integrated technology suite for flooring retailers.
Brilliant. So explain, how does the customer just so I understand a bit more about Broadlume? If it was a brand new company and they had nothing, how do they start with a website and then it just works their way through your software? Is that right? Or explain that to me.
Yeah, and actually, let me take one step back, because the first question you kind of asked me, first question, who is Todd Saunders, and I told you who is Broadlume. We're probably one of the same, but I do have a different story for myself as well.
That'd be great.
That's pretty unique. So I actually started my career at Google. Worked at Google in San Francisco for 2 years. That was from 2013 to 2015. And then my co-founder and I left Google and started an advertising technology company. The company was called AdHawk. We were kind of the classic venture capital backed business, Silicon Valley, what you all hear about. Grew the business to about 10, maybe 8 million in revenue, somewhere between 8 and 10 million in revenue. It's hard for me to remember at this point. From 2015 to 2017. And what we realized in 2017 was we had one customer that was bringing us as an advertising technology company, and coming from the Google Ads team, at Google, we had this one company bringing us a ton of business, and it was this website company called FloorForce, and they were a website company for the flooring industry. So started to kind of do more work with them and fell in love with the flooring industry, and we actually shut down the rest of our business, bought FloorForce, and became a advertising technology and website platform for the flooring industry. And that was in late 2018, maybe early 2019, and then realized that there was even a bigger opportunity than what we initially thought, where we didn't want to just be a website and digital marketing software company. We wanted to be the full kind of turnkey, all-in-one integrated solution for flooring retailers. So what we did is we bought FloorForce. So FloorForce had been around for 20 years, maybe 15 years. It was started by a guy named John Weller, and his actually partner was Mark Loberbaum, who is one of the family that basically owns Mohawk, or is the CEO of Mohawk Industries. So they were around for about 15 years. I then found out they had a competitor called Creating Your Space. They've been around for about 20 years. We acquired them, and they joined us to help build our website platform. And then we acquired what we would consider the best product visualization company. They're actually based in the UK. They were a company called Freetail. Some people know them as Visual Mind. So we have an office actually in the UK. We then acquired the largest backend software, ERP kind of accounting software called Rollmaster. We then acquired another ERP called Banaboom, and then we acquired the largest CRM lead management tool for the flooring industry called Retail Lead Management. That was all in like a 2.5-year period. Wow. And so basically, like, when people ask me what is Broadlume and how long has Broadlume been around, it's hard for me to say, because I've been working on this business, although it pivoted into the flooring industry like 4 years ago. I've been working on it since 2015, and a lot of the people we acquired have been working on it since 20 or 30 years ago. So depending on who you ask, we've been around for 5 years or 25 years. But yeah, that's our story of how we all went from Google. So now we're 180 employees. Half of us are from like tech, Google, Facebook, Amazon. The other half are from traditional flooring companies. And it makes us really unique. So anyway, I wanted to make sure I got that story out there, because I think it sets the stage who we are.
No, that's fab. And how, like, before I go back to the original one, how did you scale so quick? Again, I've got no experience of scaling I've scaled business myself, but not on that rate. How did you mentally and emotionally sort of go from, right, this is what we're gonna do? How did that come about, or was it just you just had a goal? Explain that a little bit. It sounded really interesting. 2.5 years.
Yeah, listen, I've reflected on that. Looking back, it was absolutely crazy. Like, we had a good business, venture backed, good board of investors, all that type of stuff, and then we just kind of like shut it down. I mean, it's hard for me to think even what was going in through my head at that point and how naive I was of like why we did that. But I've learned over my career that I am very intuition based, and once I make a decision, I kind of run with it. So, which is good and bad, right? There's good and bad parts to that. So, listen, I remember how it all came to be. We were partners with Floor Force. It was the relationship was growing rapidly, and they invited me to a flooring conference. And I was used to, my idea of a conference was like a technology conference, right? So like a Dreamforce that Salesforce puts together or something else. So I go to this conference and I'm expecting like content and networking, and like we all sit down and we watch these amazing speakers give these talks, and that's kind of what I was expecting. And I walked in and it was the exact opposite. It was like a bunch of people touching carpet samples that all looked the same to me as an outsider. And I was like, damn, this is not what I expected. So then a few weeks later, I went to my first Surfaces. And sorry if you hear my crazy dog in the background, but I went to my first Surfaces, which is the largest flooring show in the US. It's in Vegas. It's actually next week. And they were like, oh, you're from Google. Do you want to talk? And I'm like, oh, this is the big, conference. This is where everyone talks. And I'm thinking there's going to be this big stage. It's going to be amazing. I put together this deck about like, I don't even remember what the deck was about. And I was pretty excited by it. And I get there and there's like a little step stool in the corner. And they're like, yeah, go stand on that step stool and like, just go yell. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was just, it was eye-opening to me how much the flooring industry was passionate about the product, because everyone goes around and like touches the product and they're like, this is amazing. But what the other side was amazing to me was there was no networking, there was no education, and there was no way for retailers or flooring brands to tell their story that is so unique and interesting. So that was a pivotal moment for me when I kind of saw all of that. And I don't know, it just kind of all clicked, and we just saw this opportunity and just kind of went for it. But looking back, it was kind of nuts. At the time, I didn't feel like it was nuts at all, but that's how I think all good ideas probably start.
Yeah, absolutely. So Broadlume now is just one software, one sort of obviously with multi assets offered, but a new contractor or retailer, let's say, just has this one software and you can then build a business on that. Is that right?
Correct. Yep. It's just one software, but you don't have to take it all, right? Like we have about 3,500 customers, give or take. Some of them just have our website. Some of them have website CRM. Some of them have kind of all the whole. So it's not like you have to buy it all. No. Some people just have, portions of it. I would say though, what makes us unique is that like we are rapidly growing. We are rapidly investing in technology and always trying to get better. So this is not something that's like set in stone and set it and forget it. We are pushing ourselves forward and hopefully pushing the flooring industry forward as we go.
Okay. And what challenges have you found with the US flooring market or even the worldwide flooring market? What do you think the biggest challenges are that face us all?
Yeah, there's a few challenges. I mean, I'm not gonna. There's macro challenges, I guess, right now. Obviously, with the economy and the headwinds that we're all gonna see. I think that's almost a separate conversation. I think more high level, the biggest challenges of the flooring industry are one, lack of installers, skilled trade. Right, that's a huge problem. There's just we're running out of installers, and that whole generation is retiring. And we're not, at least in the US, teaching kids that trade is okay and going to college isn't for everyone, and you can make just as much, if not more money in the trade. So that's a huge problem. I would say a second problem is that a lot of retailers have the mentality of, well, it worked for me for the last 30 years, so I'm going to keep doing it. And my concern is, well, the mattress company said the same thing, and so did Blockbuster, and history is going to repeat itself, so you have to change your mindset. So there's just a mindset change I think is affecting the flooring industry. And then I think last is the experience of buying flooring stinks. Like, I'll just say it for what it is. Like, buying flooring is hard. Like, even my family, I'm in the flooring industry. I know flooring very well. And like my parents, like, I want to go buy flooring, and I'm like taking them to a store, and the store is so crowded with a million displays and all the synonyms and acronyms, and you can't even tell the difference, and it's confusing. And like, it's like what it was buying mattresses, right? That's kind of what the experience was like a long time ago. And those are the three big things, right, that I really think is holding the flooring industry.
Well, that leads nicely on to my next question. The future of the flooring industry, I feel, is going to be connected with tech, but there's still a lot of people hanging on to the bricks and mortar store, but then there's a lot of people pushing forward on VR and things like that. Where, without giving away some huge secrets, where do you think we're going to go worldwide, and how are people going to be buying flooring in 5 years' time?
Yeah, listen, if you look, like, I don't think brick and mortar is going away. I know a lot of people think that. I mean, maybe it gets consolidated. I mean, look at Casper. Casper is big in the US. They wiped out every locally owned flooring store, because they provided a better way to buy flooring, right? And everyone said, oh, you have to lay on the mattress. Oh, like, buying a mattress online, you can't, because you have to lay on it and you have to feel it, and all of that. Well, the truth is, I can buy a mattress online. I could get a Tesla right now. I can spend 50 grand, get a Tesla right now, get it delivered to my driveway probably by tomorrow. And if I don't like it, I can return it. Yet we make a $10,000 purchase in the flooring industry. We make it so difficult. Now they're different, right? Because I can't just buy flooring and have it be on my floor, right? So there's that part of it. And there's a lot of education out there about cars and brands, and there's not that many brands in flooring. So it's a lot harder to buy online in confidence. But I think where it's going is the experience is going to change. I think you're going to see flooring retailer showrooms go from, how can I fit as much product in my showroom as possible, to how can I work with manufacturers that actually support me in my technology and help me get a better consumer experience. Not, hey, someone might ask about this product one day, how can I shove it into my showroom? Because it's a mess, right? It creates a mess. And what I'll tell you, and we're helping retailers do this, is every showroom is set up vinyl, hardwood, laminate, tile, whatever, carpet. And the truth is, the customer has no idea the difference between laminate, vinyl, and hardwood for the most sense, right? Like, especially once you get down to like SPC, like once you get down into the nitty gritty, they want flooring that looks like wood that is durable.
Yeah.
Even today, I truly cannot really, I mean, technically I can tell you the difference between laminate and vinyl plank, but like, if a customer had a gun to my head, it's like, which one should I buy? I'd kind of be like, yeah. I don't know, laminate's actually more durable, but like, whatever. So what we're helping retailers do is, like, why don't you get rid of 50% of the displays in your showroom? Less is more. And rather than organize it like that, let's organize it like personas. So let's put all your value products here. Let's put all of your luxury products here, your design products here, and your performance products here. But that includes all product types. So when Mrs. Jones comes in the front door and says, hey, I have an Airbnb, I'm renting it out, it's college kids in there, right away, take her to the value section and let her shop all the different products in the value section and tell the story about the value section. And same with the luxury section, and so on and so forth. So I guess where I'm going with that is the experience will change, but I'm not sure brick and mortar changes. I think the experience will change. And technology will aid that and make that happen faster. But that's kind of where I see it going.
And do you think there's going to be virtual showrooms like with VR, like where you can literally sit in your living room or kitchen, and it's obviously the software is already there, but where you can literally select the image that you're seeing and then select that and then select fitting? Or is that do you think it's still going to need? I'm on the fence if it still needs that human interaction, rather than just clicking a button and then some herringbone flooring turns up. How do you think that's going to work?
It's like it's a tough question. Like, yes, people will shop using VR. Does that mean that showrooms are going away? No. It's like I want to be for the flooring industry on the cutting edge of technology, but the truth is we're 20 years behind or 10 years behind every other industry. So what's nice about the flooring industry is we can just follow what has happened in every other industry, and rather than guess what's going to happen, we can just look at history and say we're 10 years behind. Let's just copy exactly what's happening. And let's use the automotive space as an example. You're not buying cars in VR, right? That's not happening yet. Once you buy cars in VR on automotive, give it 5 years and you will on flooring. But what you are doing in automotive is people aren't going to dealerships uneducated, not knowing what they want, not doing their research. And to be frank, a lot of people are buying cars from car vending machines online and getting delivered to their house. So that is the stage we're at this point. Once automotive goes to full VR, then I'm willing to talk about 5 years from now. From that point, flooring industry going to full VR. But like VR or AR is still important to like, listen, the hardest thing for Mrs. Jones when she buys flooring is what is it going to look like?
Yeah.
Right. I think I saw some stat and I can't remember the numbers, but like the majority of people are confident and the majority of people that pick out flooring are dissatisfied when it's installed, and it's mostly because the color, and they feel surprised and they didn't think it was going to look like that.
Yeah.
Right. And that's because it's just very difficult to imagine what this one little plank of flooring is going to look like across my giant room with my lights and the windows and everything. So I think it'll help aid in the process, but I don't know. We're not there yet.
No. And is there any plans to bring the software to the UK in the future?
I'd love to. We have UK customers. So we have about 3,500 customers. I'm going to guess less than 50 are in the UK. But like I mentioned, our visualization company is based in the UK.
Okay.
I would love to. I mean, something that makes us unique is if you sign up with a website with us, for instance, we have the catalogs of every manufacturer, so you can like shop. So you can go to the product image, you can click on the image, you can look at the specs, you can visualize it in your room. And that's for every product out there. So you can really go shopping as a consumer. Now, we don't let you buy per se, but you can browse catalogs, like full catalogs. Listen, we'd love to go to the UK. I think we are doing something really special in the US. And to be frank, like we don't really have an entrance into the UK. But we're always open to talking about that. But right now, focused on the US. It's a big market here in the US.
And more about flooring, but what is your favorite flooring product and what have you got fitted to your home?
Well, I live in New York City in a 1,300 square foot apartment in New York City and Greenwich Village. So I have old school classic parquet floors that are in my old Art Deco building forever. And say what you want about parquet, I wouldn't install it now, but in an old school Art Deco New York City building, it's amazing. If I had to rip it up and put something down, I mean, I don't know, an oiled finished European white oak floor, wide plank, very modern farmhouse look is probably what I would put down. I just helped my parents buy a floor, and that's what they got, and it looked beautiful. So that's probably what I would do. How about you?
I would say probably more traditional herringbone with the borders round, and then maybe a metal inlay, or as detailed as possible if I was going to build a house, and probably chevron in the hall. So chevron and herringbone mix, and then planks upstairs, I would think. So it's but with the real detailed borders, nothing too chintzy as such, but just where you can see the craftsmanship's been in. At home, I have a 220 European white oiled plank fitted through the whole ground floor of the house, but it's not the forever house, so but it's a big wide European long length plank. So
is vinyl plank? I mean, in the US, vinyl plank is like 70% of sales now. Is that happening in the UK as well?
I don't know the exact percentage, but certainly vinyl is really taken over, because I think I've had discussions with other people where the economy and the price of quality wood flooring has gone 40 to 60% up, let's say, in the last 2 years. So where you could buy a really expensive, really good quality European floor, and it was available to certain caliber of client, let's say, now that's not available. So they're now looking at other options. I even had chat with a laminate manufacturer the other day, and I said, look, are you going to get a bigger market share now because everyone can't afford the vinyl or the wood? And that might be the case. So I don't know the percentage in answer, but I think the economy is having a lot to say about prices. When I was out on the tools, I used to get, let's say, £100 per square meter supplied and fitted. We're now at 230 supplied, fitted, damp-proof glue, skirting boards, anything like that. So we're talking a completed turnkey job, but in comparison to 17 years ago, we're doubling a bit more. So I do think the vinyl's going to keep going at the pace it's going. It's not my strong point. My background's wood, but certainly, but I just can't get excited about it. I'm just wood through and through, because it's
of course.
The vinyl, the laminates, etc. A picture of what the real thing would be. So
totally agree. It's just scary that, Mrs. Jones goes in the showroom, she's pulling up hardwood, and she's like, "Is this laminate?" Right? Like, you hear that all the time. And if I laid out all of those products, you could tell the difference, and maybe I could tell the difference, maybe, but Mrs. Jones cannot. And what I hear a lot in the US is what is going to happen with all these lock systems, that probably will fail and aren't waterproof, even though we say they're waterproof. They're waterproof on top, but that's not what everyone thinks. What's going to happen in 5 years from now? In my opinion, it was meant for, I'm making up a number. Let's just say it was meant for 500K home or lower. And now it's going into $1 million homes and all, and higher. And I think what's going to happen is, in 5 years from now, when it's failing, it's going to get ripped up all across the country. There's going to be a boom in the flooring industry because there's going to be so many rip-ups, and hardwood's going to boom, and it's actually going to be great. Listen, there's conspiracy theories that even the flooring manufacturers know this. They want turns, right? They don't want a product like luxury vinyl plank to be in there for 30 years. So I think there's a big turn happening in the next few years away from vinyl plank, but we'll see. If I could predict it, I would.
I think there's a lot coming. It still hasn't hit. They've tried to come into the market quite several times, where it's the HDF core, and you've got the 1 mil of oak, where retail wise you would the client, if you could see that it was 1 mil, would put the client off. But if you put a trim around the sample board to not show the thickness of the oak, and then explain the durability, as in impact and scratch, it was a very sellable product. But as soon as the UK sort of retail client sees that it's 1 mil, suddenly they associate that with lack of quality or lack of durability. Yes, you can't sand it. Yes, you've got to rip it out maybe after 20, 30 years. But I've seen that coming in for the last 10 years, and it sort of comes in, goes out, and people keep showing the technology, but people still not biting on, and it's very much nearly touching the vinyl market. That's what I see quite a lot. I suppose you do get the best of both worlds there, but again, it's brilliant for retail, where they're doing shop refits, where they'll get 10 years out for retail and they just rip everything out and start again. But home user, I don't know. It's a strange one.
Yeah, and it's easy to install, right? So these click lock systems make it easy, especially for the issue I told you earlier of short labor, right? So it's good.
That's right. That's it. So what's the ideal client for Broadlume in the US? Who is, I'm assuming you do lots of different size clients, but who is the ideal person or business?
We have customer, I think, as low as $300,000 in sales, and our biggest customer does 190 million. So we're somewhere in that range, but I would say like our 75% of our customers do between 1 to 10 million. Okay. That's like where our core customer is. I would say, you know, the majority and somewhere between 3 to 10, 5 to 10 is kind of the core. But, you know, I think we're really good at, we do one thing, right? We build software for flooring retailers. And when you just do that, you can live within flooring and live up or down that chain. I think it's really hard for someone that's out of flooring to be in flooring and out of flooring, but I think it's really easy for someone in flooring to go $1 million to $20 million deal. You kind of know the differences. But yeah, that's kind of the range of what we're looking for. But, you know, less than, I don't know. Our websites are also it depends how you consider expensive. I think they're not expensive for the ROI you get, but our cheapest website is like $4.49 a month. You know, so if you're looking for a $99 website,
it's not,
we're not your right person.
No,
which is fine.
So yeah, I was going to say, I was going to ask the question there about, do you have in the US where you might have like one guy in a van that would come to your home and offer a service in the like hardwood or vinyl or whatever, or you can go to the store of any sort of size, but your software wouldn't be good for the guy in the van? Is there any sort of, is that right? Or is it, you know, I'm assuming they could use it, but it's going to be an investment that they might want $99.
Yeah, listen, I think the guy in the van should listen, when you get our website, right, you end up getting more leads, which is good. But if you don't have a process below those leads, like good lead management, and you answer the phone calls and you are able to follow up, there's no reason to spend the money to get the extra leads and the extra business, right? So like, if you truly look, I would say every retailer needs more leads. Everyone needs to, you know, everyone wants to make more money, great. But if truly, honestly, you're a one man in a van and you're doing the measures and the install and the selling, like, you don't want to be a leaky bucket. There's no reason to pay that money to be a leaky bucket. So, you know, you might as well have a good online presence, but not spend as much money and do something a little bit different. But I don't know. My view is like everyone should want more leads and everyone should be able to improve their business. But I do understand if you're a startup, right? Like I was a startup. We were a startup of 2 people and I wouldn't spend money on Salesforce, and now I'm on Salesforce, right? So there's always a time.
I had a good one this morning. We if anyone follows our digital media market agency on Instagram, we just send them a message back saying, hey, thanks for the follow. If we're getting a bit of help, you know, just standard message, really polite and friendly. And the guy replied back, thank you so much. I will never need a website because they don't work. I had one 3 years ago and I got 1 lead in full 12 months. It may have been down to the website, but I don't believe in websites and I only now use Facebook. But thanks anyway for reaching out to say hi. I was like, wow. So yeah, I was people's mindset over marketing sometimes is the restriction, not actually the website. I just thought it was a really interesting sort of response just to, hey, how are you doing? Then it was just a Facebook is using it. But I mean, Facebook works, but yeah, it was an interesting message.
Yeah, no, and I'm curious on your side, like in the US, there's all these Facebook groups. I don't know how many of these Facebook groups you're in. Are there UK based flooring groups for like retailers to be in? Because there's a lot in the US.
Retailers, not really. Contractors, yes. So we have a group, I think, with circa 5,000 contractors in that we run and manage. But one of the reasons we set up Cockerill & Co. was to support retailers, because we used to be a retailer and you used to sit in your store, have your fitters, have your whatever, but it used to be a really lonely place. So in answer to your question, no, there isn't really any support for the retail network. Yes, there's the Harrogate show where everyone gets together, but you just go and see the representative that you see that comes and sees you and has a cup of tea on a monthly basis. But there isn't like a network. And the biggest thing we have from our mentoring clients is communication with other mentees. So if, you know, someone in London has a store and someone has one in Scotland, they love speaking about the pros and the cons of owning the store. And that's one of the biggest feedbacks we've had, is that open line communication. Yes, with us, because we were there to support, but with each other. So I think it would be a great thing if it gets, but I think, again, I think a lot of store owners in the UK, and I still haven't put my finger on it, and we've done so much research into it, Facebook groups and Facebook seem to attract a certain caliber of individual. Instagram, which obviously there is no groups, you've got a much higher level quality of client, quality of interaction, just as a whole. So if you looked at like values of jobs, you would say, let's say you get up to £1,000 job on Facebook, but you could easily get a £10,000 job on Instagram with the same similar content. And I still haven't put my finger on it. So there is an element of people associate Facebook in the UK with, if it's a group, people are going to be sort of bitching about this or doing this or that. It's not a real community, but it's certainly something we're trying to change. But it's or take it off to another platform where it could, but Facebook is the easiest, I think, in the UK, where to create a group and communicate with people. But I mean, the groups are not bad, but it just seems to be some stigmatism round Facebook groups, and I'd be really interested if Instagram released a group somehow. If you get a different caliber of people, that's my kind of take on groups.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I totally agree. I think the Facebook groups is a whole thing, and I actually think the more I get into, and listen, I'm a classic. You won't find a bigger Google Ads nerd than me. I know you guys do Google Ads, and I think they're great, but I think content marketing is like, now when you type in to Google, like if I want to buy a TV, I'm typing in best TV for living room.
Yeah.
And I want to see content, and I want to read that content. So I think the flooring industry is going to get deeper into the content marketing. Again, how do I know this? Because like we're 5 years behind everyone else, and everyone else has done it. So what's good about the flooring industry, again, is that just copy what we know works, because we can just follow the other industries.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's I was going to ask you a question, and I can't remember what it was. I will move on, and then I'll remember in a second. So what is next for Broadlume? Now have you got any more acquisitions coming up, or what is the game plan for the next 12 and then 5 years?
That's a good question. Listen, today we build software for flooring retailers, but I don't want to stop there. I think the flooring industry has to change, and it starts with software. So our core customer is the retailer, but we're starting to work more and more with manufacturers to help them tell their story and their brand. So you're kind of seeing our business evolve a bit from just working with retail to, now that we have a relationship with retail, how do we help manufacturers build their brand, build their presence, and tell their story that they're currently not able to tell? I just want to see the flooring industry get better, right? At the end of the day, if the flooring industry gets better, we'll look at how we can build software or groups, or like, even I'll give you an example. We had retailers. Let me go full circle here. So I said at the beginning of this why we started the company. We went to this show, and there was no content and marketing, and it wasn't what I expected. 3 years ago, we launched FloorCon, which was our flooring conference for the industry, and it's all content. Like, you sit down and you watch, and people go on stage. And last year we had Michelle Vermette, the former CEO of Armstrong, Andrew Yang, presidential candidate, Jason Goldberg, $200 million flooring store, you name it. We had like who is who in the flooring industry talking and educating retailers in the audience about how to get better and what their story was. So to kind of come full circle, is that technology? No. Does that push the industry forward? Yes. So we will continue to do things that we think push the industry forward, and hopefully help our business and help retailers, and we can all win together.
You've just actually read my mind. My question was, tell me more about FloorCon. Is there a FloorCon this year? Is there?
Yeah, we just had it in November. We're going to have it again. We've had it every November. We're going to do it this year in October. We had like 700 people attend last year. I will tell you that the resounding response from FloorCon was, I learned a lot, but more importantly, I'm now reinvigorated and excited to be in the flooring industry again, which makes us so happy as a business. If that's all we keep hearing, then I think we won. So yeah, there'll be another FloorCon this year. It's probably going to be in the southern part of the US. So think maybe Florida, Georgia area, but still TBD where we do it.
Well, I'm meant to be coming. It's my 40th birthday in October, and my commitment for my wife.
When's your birthday?
18th of October.
That's my birthday.
Wow. So there we go. But we've made a commitment, me and my wife, that we're going to come to the US for my 40th. The idea was possibly New York, but that could change now. So where you? I'm saying
Florida.
Yeah, so Florida could be the place.
Florida is beautiful. New York is beautiful. If you need recommendations on either, I know both very well. They're probably the two most visited. Live in New York and visit Florida a lot. So
fabulous. Well, I'll certainly keep in touch to get the details for that. Right, we're going to go into a little bit of a fun, quick round just about you. We always do on the podcast. And so, McDonald's or Burger King, which one and why?
Can I go Chick-fil-A? But if I didn't have to go Chick-fil-A, I would go McDonald's and actually I'll shout out Brian Elias, who I talked to a few weeks ago. He runs a company called Refloor. And what he got me to appreciate about McDonald's is forget the food. I think the food's pretty similar. Chick-fil-A, best food. McDonald's and Burger King, similar food. But the operation of McDonald's is so incredible that they just have a process and a machine, and anyone can go work there and know exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it with consistency. And I appreciate that. So I'll go McDonald's.
Brilliant. Sunbathing or skiing?
Ooh, sunbathing. No question. Who wants to be cold?
And if you won 10 million US tonight on the lottery, what are the first 5 things you would buy?
Well, let me skip over all the things that I would buy because it's not going to be fun for my friends and my family and my parents and all of that stuff. So let me skip over that. I will get them first before I get myself. But if I really wanted to be selfish and buy some things for myself, first thing would be I would put a golf simulator in my apartment so I could golf any weather whenever I want. Yeah. I'd then probably buy, I'm trying to think what I would buy. A bigger New York City apartment would be pretty nice. 1,200 square feet in New York. It's a little cramped when you and your wife both work at home and you have a dog. I don't know, man. I don't really need things. I'd probably go out to a nice dinner. I'm a huge fan of chicken parmesan, maybe get a nice one and have a good bottle of wine and I don't know, get back to work. That's probably what I would do.
Are you a car guy?
I mean, I'd buy it. No. I mean, I guess it depends if you guys are a car guy. We just bought a car. My wife got a brand new car, but it's nice, but it's not I'm not going to spend $100,000 on a car. Let me tell you that. No, that's not my thing.
So even with the 10.
Oh, I got it. I would buy season tickets, box seats to the New York Yankees every single year. I'm a huge baseball fan. That's what I would do.
So yeah, no Lamborghini, just the seats, the best seats in the house for the baseball.
Correct. Best seats in the house, a good bottle of wine, and maybe some chicken parm. That's what I would do.
Fabulous. Right. And how can people reach out to you and your team if they want to? What's the best way to do that?
I'm always available via my phone number. It's it's in the US, so 1908-246-7574. You could go to broadlume.com. That's BROADLUME.com. Or you can just email me at Todd, TODD.Saunders, SAUNDERS @broadlume.com. Please don't spell it LOOM. It's Broadlume is BROADLUME. Yes, I know it's not the classic Broadlume, but that's the point. But anyway, that's how you can reach out. We're always available. Or message me on Facebook or something, or LinkedIn. I think that's maybe where you message me, right?
That's right. Absolutely. LinkedIn. Yeah.
I respond everywhere.
Brilliant, Todd. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been great. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and hope to see you in Florida in October.